What is up, everybody? It is JT Sports. I am back, you guys, with another video. I'm here with my guy, Ryan Tracy, part of RGR Media. He's on here to break down Kansas City Chiefs training camp. What's going on, man?
Same old stuff, getting ready for ball, right? Like it's almost here.
Oh, yeah, man, for sure. Like, I've been waiting like so long. Like, I've been playing Madden, trying to, simulate the football field. And of course, Madden sucks. So, I'm waiting. I'm counting down. Like, people count down to the regular season, but to me, football starts when preseason starts. So August 5th,
right?
Football
for me, it's like,
back.
when do the quarterbacks come to town? Like the week earlier. Like I'm ready for that because I suck at Madden.
Exactly. So before we begin, tell the people what you do and how they can find your channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here on the platform as well. You can find me at RGR Football. Also on Locked On Chiefs. We're here on YouTube as well as the big podcast on the Locked On Network. And it's all Chiefs all the time, like 5 days a week on both of them. So you get a nice smattering of beat writers, independent analysts. We do a ton of film on the channel. So if you're into Chiefs or you want to see what's coming at them, that's where you can find it.
Funny, man, you're part of the Locked On Network. I got another guy who I'm supposed to be linking up with for Locked On for the Saints this coming Monday.
Nice.
Yeah, y'all pretty good network.
Ross.
Yeah,
tell him I said hi.
I got you. I got one coming with him Friday. I love what you guys are doing over there. So another thing I love is Kansas City, man. So you guys lose the Super Bowl. Next thing you know, snap of a finger, here you go. Who you guys go assembling the Avengers of the offensive line? Like, Jesus Christ. And like, where are you guys getting this money from? Like,
man, it's the way they structure the contracts, right? So Mahomes was like, he got his huge $500 million contract, but like first year he was like 7 against the cap. And then he creeped up a little bit. Same thing with like Jones. Like everybody that they signed, they get a nice low base salary, keep their cap number low the first year they sign it. And that kind of lets them revolve it and kick it down the road a little bit. It's just when you get like 5 or 6 superstars here coming up next season, it's going to be a little bit tough.
Definitely. So, I mean, like, the offensive line, like, what is the biggest concern? Like, are there any concerns about the offensive line, or is everything pretty set in stone?
No, there's a lot of ifs, right? I mean, like you said, like they did a good job putting together a lot of talent, but how does that talent come together? And can it stay on the field? Like they brought Kyle Long out of retirement, and he went through OTAs and he got hurt. So like that doesn't bode well for making it through a season. They got the doc back, Duvernay Tardif, who actually became a doctor while he was in his 3rd season in the NFL. So he's coming back. He was out for COVID last year. So right guard, that's the battle. Like, there's a ton. Mike Remmer's kind of beat up bad by the Bucs in the Super Bowl. Right now, he's slated to start at right tackle because Lucas Niang is basically a year removed from his rookie season. So there's a lot of ifs on there. It's just on the left side, you feel pretty good about Tooney and Orlando Brown being side by side.
Yeah, man. I got to say this, man. Like, you got a great voice for this, man. Like, an absolutely great voice. Like, sound like I'm talking to, like, I don't know if it's your mic or if it's just your voice. I think it's both.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take it, right? I yak for a living at this point.
Man, listen, man, I hope my voice can get that deep eventually that I can, hey, what's going on, man?
There you go. So,
like, you look at running back, I think it was really interesting because, like, you had Le'Veon Bell, Clyde Edwards-Helaire went down, sadly, and then I thought Le'Veon Bell just finna take over and didn't really do anything. So is Clyde Edwards the lead guy come back? I know you guys had Damian Williams, who decided to opt out last year. Is he going to take some of Clyde Edwards-Helaire's carries, or is he just going to be the full back workhorse?
No, he signed with another team. He's not in the picture right now. It's Clyde as the bell cow, right? I'm guessing probably 70% of the carries. And then they've got Darrell Williams, another LSU back, who's been with the team a couple of times. And he's great catching out of the backfield. He can do a little bit more of the power work. And then they signed Jerick McKinnon, who actually had a great OTA session. And if he's healthy, gives just another gear in the passing game. So you got to be able to cover the backs out of the backfield when you play Kansas City.
How you feeling about wide receiver? You guys lost Sammy Watkins. Now, Sammy Watkins he was always that guy who starts the season out getting you like 200 yards. And I'm not making this up, like literally, like the guy would snap for the first 4 weeks. And then after that, we really wouldn't hear from him again. But he was a pretty consistent player for the most part. I am excited to see what he does with Baltimore. So, I mean, you got Demarcus Robinson. We know about Tyreek Hill. What about Mecole Hardman, man? Like, a a lot of the Chiefs fans have been kind of hard on him. Like, does he have to have, a great preseason and training camp, or like, is there somebody else that's going to try to take the load off him?
They're going to try to spread it around a little bit, but his role isn't really dependent on the preseason. They're really hoping that he breaks out. He's got all the physical tools, right? When he gets his hand on the ball, he's usually springing something big. It's about learning the offense, being able to sight adjust with Mahomes. That's been the thing where they've been a little off of their plan together. And so if he makes that adjustment, he's going to be the number 3 target behind Hill and Kelsey. And then you end up with an X. It's going to be a bigger bodied receiver and probably won't be the go-to guy because you're going to want to feed Hardman. He's going to have the best matchups. So as long as he can get into the mental part of the game, he's going to be, I think this might be the year that he breaks out. I'm hoping so. I'm a fan.
Who is going to be the slot receiver for Kansas City? Like, there was a rumor out there that came out that the Ravens, the Chiefs, all offered Juju Smith-Schuster a 1-year deal. I think you guys offered him the most, like a $9 million deal. So, like, is there like a hole at slot?
No, that's where Hardman will line up the majority of the time. Every wide receiver gets coached to play all 3 positions in the read offense, right? But they all have the spots where they end up the most. And McColl's most likely going to run out of the slot. If the X doesn't develop, they have Demarcus Robinson, they have Byron Pringle, they have Cornell Powell they just drafted. They got Callaway, they got Therese Fountain. They got all these guys that are kind of like fighting over who's going to get the X reps. If one of those guys emerges, then McColl will probably be slot 80% of the time. But they're going to try to give you a couple of switch ups and get them one-on-one when they can.
Now, which Callaway is this? Is this Antonio Callaway or another Callaway? So like, okay. So like, have you heard anything about him? Because very interesting, because me living down in Florida, I heard a lot of Antonio Callaway. He was like a big figure. He was supposed to have, like, he had a very good season when Florida had quarterback controversy, but all the field issues, opted out, went to Cleveland, XFL, injured. So I mean, right. Like, what are you hearing about him?
So far, so good. He got in there reps. He mixed it up with the 1s and the 2s, got some good looks with Mahomes himself. And that's really the key. If you're going to break into this roster, you got to be able to get on the same page with Mahomes. That's all there is to it. So, I mean, again, he's in that same group fighting against Demarcus Robinson, another Florida guy, right, who seems to have the inside track because he's played the most with Mahomes. Byron Pringle, a lot of guys that have a lot of talent, and they just got to put it together and see who can, like, be somebody that they can trust to go to when they need them.
Who's your favorite out of that group behind Mecole Hardman?
I'm kind of partial to Byron Pringle. He runs with a lot of attitude. He's got good speed. He runs nice routes. He's aware when Mahomes starts running around, like he's able to help him out. I'm a big fan of his. We'll see what it comes down to because he's got some stiff competition.
So don't really waste too much time on this, but before we go to the defense, because, you got smart Alexes in the comic section that are always going to be like, you didn't talk about backup QB and tight end. So how are those backup options looking behind Mahomes and Kelsey?
Looks the same as last year. It's going to be Chad Henne. Hopefully he doesn't have to tuck the ball and run like he did against Cleveland, and everybody can stay happy. They'll probably only carry 2 on the 53 man. They're going to stash Gordon, I think. I don't think Shane Buechele's going to win out that contest. They're probably only going to keep one on the practice squad. It'll likely be Anthony Gordon. They'll have him just as in case. And then when it comes to the tight end, it's one thing to try and do what Travis Kelce does. Not many people can. So they went kind of an opposite thing here, and they drafted Noah Gray out of Duke in this last draft. And he's really more of an H-back role. At least he was in college. They're going to mix some of that in and see if they can get some piggyback kind of routes. Let Travis take the attention and get some open middle shots against a guy who's pretty athletic, that has pretty good hands, isn't all of Travis Kelce, but can bring a lot of what he brings to the table.
Before we move on to the defense, you guys make sure to check out my guy, RGR Media, my guy, Ryan Tracy. I will have his channel linked down in the comment section and description down below. I appreciate you for being on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So you look at this defense, how is cornerback looking? Because I think cornerback is really interesting. Like, you had this rookie corner last year who was pretty good. I should know his name, but I can't remember it. But, like, how's the whole entire cornerback group looking right now?
It's young. You are not wrong there. L'Jarius Sneed is the guy that you're thinking of. He made the top under 25 list, right? A guy with a lot of potential. I think he can grow into a number 1 shutdown corner. He's got the skills. He's got ball skills. He's feisty. He's got great length, uses his arms well. Right now, he and Chavarius Ward are running 1 and 2, and they're going to be your outside corners. Inside, it's going to be Rashad Fenton, who I think is going to be scrappy and be a little bit more physical because that's the way he likes to play. He doesn't have the super long speed that Snead has. Snead came in, I think, at like 4.37. So he's got good range. Fenton's going to be the guy that's going to cut you off or ride you out your route and make sure that you're not in a position to hurt him. Those are going to be your starting 3. And over the top, you're going to have Tyrann Mathieu and Juan Thornhill. So they feel like if they keep everything in front of them, the safeties are going to help compensate for the youth, because after the starting 3, it's everybody's young. Bopi Keys, DiCaprio Boodle, like all kinds of young guys. DeAndre Baker is still hurt. We don't know when he's going to be available, but they got him from the Giants. So a lot of youth, not a lot of experience at this point.
Now, when you look at the defensive line, we already know about Chris Jones. How else is it looking? Because I think like everybody just knows Chris Jones, but who else is there? Don't you guys have Frank Clark, right?
Yeah. And here's the interesting thing. You're going to see Frank play his normal. I think he's going to stay on the right. You're going to see Chris Jones go out to left end. He's going to get outside and be an edge guy because they signed Jaron Reed to go inside with Derek Nottie. And I dare anybody to try to run on that group. So that's going to be a lot of entertainment. The question is going to be, when you get that pass rush, can Chris make that transition to be an edge rusher instead of being inside, where his hand fighting is pretty good inside? It's going to be a different story out against tackles.
Yeah. Like, do you think he has the speed to make that happen?
I think he's got the power. We're going to see. He's slimmed down. I'm guessing he's not official yet, but I'll bet he's about 10, 12 pounds lighter than he was last year. And I think that has been in preparation for a move outside so they can get a little bit more robust inside of the tackles and let him kind of do his thing out there. He's been wanting it for quite a while.
Okay, now, is this small school guy who you guys drafted, not this past year's, but previous draft, he's a small school guy. He's like a defensive tackle and nose tackle. Hopefully you know the guy I'm talking about. I can't think of his name right now.
I think you're thinking Mike Dana, who played at Central Michigan.
Yeah, him and this one more.
Let's see, Tershawn Wharton.
Yeah,
Missouri S&T.
I think that's him. Yeah, I'm gonna find it. But while I'm looking for that, how you feel about linebacker? Now you got Sorensen, who the guy's a beast. Like, the guy is always near the ball. He reminds me like a smaller version of Paul Posluszky. Like, every time we play ends, like, there the dude is. Like, this guy is incredible. Like, how good is he? And like, how good is the rest of the group of linebackers behind him?
The interesting thing is Dan's listed as a safety, and he'll play anywhere from single high all the way down to in the box like a traditional Dave Duerson strong safety, right? And so he'll do a little bit of everything. You're right. He's always around the ball. But his skill set is, I think, best in close to the box where he can actually get his hands on the first 5 yards of a tight end route, that kind of thing. And he has a tendency to get shaken loose by quick cuts. So you want to give him a little bit of bump after that. But the linebacker group's going to be led by Anthony Hitchens. And then they drafted Willie Gay the season before last. Now they just drafted Nick Bolton out of Missouri. So they have 2 SEC linebackers that are looking to be the young next generation. They're going to try to work those guys in together with Hitch being the leader of the group.
Okay. So I want to ask you about your 3 players to watch going into training camp. Offense, defense, and then we're going to let you get out of here. So a guy I was looking to ask you about is Kalen Sanders. How you feel about him going into training camp and going into the season? What's his role with this team going to be?
I'm really excited about him because he's the guy that got famous. He did like a backflip at the Senior Bowl and stuff. He's an uber athlete, right? He's like a 325 defensive tackle, but he played fullback in high school. He can catch the ball. When the Chiefs lost a couple linebackers in week 17 when they were resting some guys, he went in at linebacker. He's a really interesting cat, and I think he's got a lot of potential. He got sidelined with an injury in I think it was week 1 last year. Didn't get much of a season. Turk Wharton kind of took his place in the rotation. In terms of pass rush, he was able to bring it. So he got a little sidelined. But with Chris Jones playing mostly at end, I think Wharton and Saunders are going to be the guys that get in that rotation and spell Reed and Nottie pretty well, especially because Nottie's a great guy against the run. He's not an uber pass rusher. So you want to mix that up, keep the rotation clean. I think Saunders might have a big year.
Okay, so before we let you get out of here, man, who are your 3 players to watch going into preseason? Here's mine. Okay, you got Antonio Callaway, you got DeAndre Baker. If he's able to suit up this preseason, I want to see him. And then you got my guy, Kalen Sanders. Now, who's yours?
So for me, on offense, I really want to see what they do with Noah Gray. I think he's so unique. He's not the uber athlete that Kelsey is, but running out of the H, if they add the H-back wrinkles into the Reed offense already, I think that's tailor-made to get yardage when everybody's worried about Hill, Hardman, and Kelsey. So I'm really interested to see what he does. On the defensive side, it's going to be my guy, LJ Sneed. I think, like I said, I think he can become a shutdown corner, but he got hurt last year, still was pretty productive, but I think he could be a 5 interception guy in 2021. I'm looking forward to that. And I'll give you one more. Just watch out as it comes through. See what Kyle Long does, because he may be a guy that can fill in at 4 or 5 spots along the offensive line. The rookie Creed Humphrey will be my honorable mention because I think he's going to get a lot of starts at center.
Okay, everybody, this is my guy, Ryan Tracy with RGR Media with the Locked On Network. One more time before we let you go, let the people know where they can find you and what you have coming up on the channel over the next couple of weeks and months.
Absolutely. You can find everything on the Twitter at Ryan Tracy NFL. And we'll have film. I think this week it's going to be Hardman. We're going to do a breakdown of Noah Gray's college stuff just before camp opens. We do live streams on Monday and Thursday nights. You can always catch us there and just ask questions away.
All right, everybody. So I appreciate you for coming on, man. You guys make sure to subscribe to RGR Media. I will have his YouTube channel down in the pinned comment section down below. And I appreciate you for coming on, man, breaking down the Kansas City Chiefs training camp.
Thanks for having me, bud. Enjoy the season.